bottom lane today, folks. You see a double ban on the other side of Ultra Prime, but this is what I really wanted to see. The Yuumi first pick, although I hate it and despise it out of any champion in League of Legends, this sets up for the bottom lane takeaway for Ultra Prime. Now, they had to pick that up, but it's like the Yuumi is still the priority pick. I'm surprised Ultra Prime get that bottom lane Zeri, but on the other side, still, Yuumi value's got to be a lot higher, right? As Sivir is still an option available. I'm trying to think about what else is a hyper carry, but I think that's just an easy standout of Sheen to get the reverse here for FPX.
Yeah, very safe, very standard bot lane, shall we say. Of course, you can't take the Lulu or honestly, we haven't seen any of it really of the Renata Glask. I do love Renata Glask into some of these compositions that want to try and run into you like the Sivir, because it can turn on them very quickly. But of course, we are going to see the Kassadin here. Now you're in an interesting situation where do you want to try and pick up the Silas to try and make, or which hasn't had the greatest successes into the Kassadin, but it does give you that extra little bit of scaling to kind of go into, or do you risk it being banned away and have to go with your support? Looks like Ultra Prime going to go for that support. They got to get the Lulu. They got to make sure that Doggo and Baolan have something to deal, to kind of set themselves up for success going into that bot side.
But this was really smart because it was a double mid lane ban away. Remember the Renekton can flex. The Rise especially, which has been known to be a good lane bully against the Kassadin, and match with the Realm Warps in times of level 6 or 11. It means that FPX were able to get a safe mid and pretty much now control the tempo of draft to what gets picked up in response, because you went for the Lulu, you needed the 2v2, and now as we go through, it's like, yep, Jace also another flex here in the LPL, which has been played mid a couple of times. And I'd be looking at something like maybe even the Kassadin band away. Get rid of another engaged tool, another melee top laner, especially with the Sejuani. You talk about things like
Jax.
Silas. That's another one. Jax is a good one to ban away against Ultra Prime.
Yeah, I completely agree. Wukong going to be banned away here as the Sejuani is locked in for the side of Ultra Prime. You got the Wukong now, the Vi, the Elise, and the Maokai all put behind the bans. Big iron bars. They shall not be seen this particular game, but the Akshan going to be banned away here. So you can see a couple of ideas maybe thrown around there. Maybe there was a little bit of an opportunity to go with an AP top laner of some description. I have heard whisperings of the Lily top coming back in certain solo queue games, but not to be, because the Akshan has been banned.
Dude, I was about to go to bed, but maybe this makes sense. Maybe this is why I'm awake right now. Into the Kassadin laning phase would be Pog, but Qing goes back to an old favorite instead in the Zoe. Still great laning here, but the level 6 mark is going to get hell interesting here, as I don't feel like Care's really worried too much about Qing's champion choice, especially now with Jax in the solo lane too. FPX are really building up to have great side lane pressure, really play out the 1-3-1. The Lee Sin as well, man. We haven't even got the buffs yet. And the fact that Hacker wants to play out the Lee Sin is either a curse or a sign of things to come.
Getting the Lee Sin back in is probably, I would argue, I'm going to triple check this now, but I think it's just one of, if not his most played champions, something he's been incredibly proficient on. Obviously, that kind of goes without saying. With most junglers, you need to be able to play Lee Sin. It's just kind of a part of the role. If you can't play Lee Sin, you probably shouldn't really be in the league. But yes, it is his most played by a mile. He has 90 professional career games on Lee Sin with a 35 win rate to 55 loss rate. His second most played is Xin Zhao with 40.
Okay, so
he has
Hacker
more than
likes
double
Lee
the Lee Sin games than he does have a second most played champion.
That's interesting. I mean, look, it's not a game where I feel like it's going to be really defined by Hacker. However, early game priority here. I think Ultra Prime.
I think it might be, but not in a way he wants.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say, like,
first few levels before, even after you hit level 6, to be perfectly honest. So
yep.
We'll wait and see how it all goes. We are jumping onto the rip for our second series of the day. It is going to be FPX versus Ultra Prime as the Gyos ring true. And it doesn't matter what day of the week it is. It doesn't matter who's playing. You will always get a fantastic crowd here in Shanghai. I love when it devolves into nothing. It's just people screaming random stuff. I remember when wasn't it LGD? It was like the TSM of the LPL for a while. It was like you'd say the two teams were playing, and then you would say LGD, and even on the days LGD were playing, you would say it again.
Dude, the crowd, ramped up for sure, and it's good to have everyone back, considering that it was a long time, without crowd over in China in the LPL. So Must feel good, especially with FPX still having so many fans out there. And look, I think this game, I'm a bit of a fan of FPX's draft. I talked about it in Pick Ban. You know, for Xiaolaohu, the matchup into Camille, definitely a skill matchup, can be quite volatile, but, you know, a lot of the time we've seen it favored towards the Jax here. Early Counter-Strike, timing as well with the hook shot, wall shot. That's what you want to see up in that top lane. But it might come down to jungle machine. You know, I talked a little bit in Pick Ban. I was like, I'm not sure it'll really depend on Hacker, but I think it will depend on Ning. I think Ning with these with this solo top lane, that's going to be his priority here. It's going to be about setting up the Camille here as Ignite.
They're going to get the flash, yeah. It's like once that Glitter Lance lands, Lwx just has to back away because you don't really have a huge amount of healing off of a level 1 Yuumi at this point in time. And of course, she's just going to sit on your back because her taking off or getting off and doing a lot isn't really going to help you either. So this is the power of the Lulu when you've got something like the Yuumi on the opposite side. And even later on, as we'll see, the Lulu having the range or the extra ability to kind of like polymorph as the Yuumi is going in will knock her out of it. So you got to be so careful. Xiaolaohu does not actually spot Ning. Ning just walked himself away without being caught on his path. So interesting enough, he's going to get a full clear top side, but they know that it's been taken on that, so they might have an inkling that he's on the blue at the moment.
Yeah, definitely will. Again, you pointed it out. It's the taking of the camp that gives the information over to Xiaolaohu and the rest of FPX. So you see Hacker just finishing his clear up towards his own top side as well. Ning has taken that back after doing the 3 camp clear, and he's going to be going towards spots. So there are still ample opportunities here, but the wave pushing up, looking for a reset from Ultra Prime. Won't give anything for Ning for the time being. He's actually going way past his camps. Might be trying to set up for a dive or a Krug steal away to try and hit tempo. I mean, there was a flash burn before a Sheen. Low health bars too. This could be a dive.
This is a big dive opportunity. There's a heal coming out as well, so you're not going to have that burst of healing to come out here. They're going to land. No, they're not going to land it there, but Zeri gets the first blood. No summoner is available for Lwx. He is doing some significant damage, but they had a W locket of the Iron Solari. It's not enough to stop the Zeri from going down, but 2 for 1 for Ultra Prime, and FPX already in a hole.
I can't believe it turned into a dive. Well played from Ning, considering that I wasn't expecting, you know, again, that dive to take place. Hacker coming through, though. Quick miss.
Misses, yeah.
So
fortunate there for FPX. They wanted to try to get something back, but yeah, good start from Ultra Prime, and this kind of just keeps the Sivir down and the Yuumi as well.
I mean, Sheen, it's a big start, right? Like, now off that, Doggo gets lane priority, got the shove in as well. We'll look at the replay here because as Ning comes in, early heal forced out. I like that Lele is blocking the Arctic Assault for Lwx. It gives him time, but polymorph timing's great, means that the wave can't really be cleared out. Not enough damage here to make the dive a little bit more crucial. And even though Doggo goes down to the end, that's still worth. You've got yourself now at 2 kills, Zeri. It's a big start for Ultra Prime's bottom lane, and I said in draft, it feels like this team really needs to accelerate, you know, in the early to mid-game stages through, I guess, the other lanes. But if bot is working so well, Zeri Lulu can take over just quite easily and set up for those neutrals, which will give Ultra Prime a lot more priority in the solo lanes through, I guess, default as well.
Absolutely. One lane pressure leads to where that pressure goes. If you leave a bot lane, then all of a sudden Lwx will go, cool, the pressure's no longer on me. It's going to be on someone else. So you got to be very aware of what's happening around you in that regard. And then Ning has gone back, picked up boots, first of all, before he really did anything crazy with that. And we're going to be keeping an eye on this Lee Sin because, again, the Lee Sin is going to be key to how you get these lanes going for yourself. You're looking to try and be an early aggressive ganker, and ooh, that hitbox looked funky.
That was silly.
That was a little bit of a funky hitbox right there, but the trade does go in favor of Ultra Prime. And again, 2 kills to the good on the bot side makes it so much easier for them to really just kind of keep the pressure down.
And all the warding that comes with it as well, they're completely safe. The one thing I didn't mention about mid is that, you know, Qing is going to have lane priority up until that 6 point. I mean, even a bit past that. The specifics are, you know, the power and that all-in damage coming through from an Ignite Electrocute Zoe, meaning that you're not in fear of Care really roaming. The wave always being shoved out means Ultra Prime could be quite chill about this bottom lane as long as they keep track of where Hacker is. And right now, this is good timing because the vision is expired here for Ultra Prime. Ning's coming back down, and he's walked over an FPX ward.
It's coming back down, but you got to remember, look at the amount of time Hacker is spending on this bot side. He did this a couple of minutes ago. He's not really taking his topside camps as frequently. Now they know he's there. The dragon has been started. There's also a level difference between these junglers. So you are looking at potentially a little bit of a moment here where FPX need to make a decision. Are you going for the dive bot? Are you looking to try and contest this dragon? Which one are you doing? They have full vision that Hacker is over there, so they must know that they have vision on them on the side of Ultra Prime. So here we go. They're going to maybe look for something here. He lands the Q, but it's only onto Ning, so he hasn't got the extra damage, and that's going to be first dragon over to Ultra Prime. Very slow, methodical, but they get the job done.
And Hacker, as you said, is just wasting a lot of time in this game. I mean, through the attempted steal, so much time. I think he was down bot for a minute in total, and he's now down almost 20 CS in the jungle. Like, this Lee Sin pick we were questioning because we're not really in a meta where Lee Sin's seen as a strong jungle. Like, we have a lot of setup junglers at the moment. The Sejuani, the Maokai are really great examples. So far, Hacker's been behind the curve, and we're just going to have to wait and see what he does at level 6 Machine, because you also look at the lanes, and you're like, well, as a Lee Sin, your setup is pretty much towards the top side. Care has hit level 6, so maybe moving as a mid-jungle unit will be good, but I don't know, man. Even Qing, what a nuisance he's being right now, spotting him out.
He's got a smite.
He's got
a smite. That's
what
why he's
Zoe?
doing it. He's just going to be such an annoying little mid laner to try and make sure, because he has the smite to come in on top of this. So just says, look, I've got mid lane priority. Ning's on bot side. I think Hacker's just kind of done here. We will see the flash being in, and a little bit of a flex of Mandarin there from our apathetics as we come back on towards this bot side, and this is rough, man. You know, they're just kind of basically saying, cool, you got the priority onto the Yuumi, great for you. We don't care. We're gonna make this a living hell for you.
Well, Sivir has both summoners available, Lola as well, but that Yuumi ultimate's not available to keep them in place. So as this 4-man dive comes through, good luck.
Yeah, Battlestar isn't gonna hit those. That's not gonna be enough, but they do get the trouble bubble. There's gonna be a flash and a flash. Ning got ignited. Now it's a Baolan versus Lwx situation. 1-for-1. Hey, in a 4v2 dive, I take that if I'm FPX.
I was pretty optimistic at Ultra Prime landing trouble bubble on the Sivir, but yeah, the killing blow didn't come through on Lola, and they just wasted so much time. So Lwx does get a kill back for it, but Machine, it's still gonna be worth for Ultra Prime because of the wave being lost out. Doggo's able to get this next shove in as well, and the fact that he's able to stay through the minion wave, get a bit of EXP difference as well, is just the biggest thing for me. Is top lane, hang on.
Oh, we are going to see the ultimate used there by Xiaolaohu, so thinking maybe he gets something more there. Not a lot of mana here on Hery, so I don't think he's a wizard right now, as Jax is going to continue to put down pressure here. Looking for that second plate, but very difficult to really make that one stick. Does have flash, doesn't get hit by the second bit of that flail, and should just walk away.
So, Ultra Prime game state still very beneficial as Care just gets hit with the Paddle Star. Because of what happened in the bottom lane, there's an Immortal Shieldbow pick up there as well. And you have to remember that Ultra Prime have started sacking the dragons, so they're going to bring FPX into them before, you know, before we get Sivir to an equal point, before Care is comfortable enough to fight. Even before Xiaolaohu is able to find something in the side lane. I think the most important thing is that Ultra Prime are playing their tempo in this game. And what I want to see now is FPX kind of find a response. And I think the response has to be through topside Machine, because Xiaolaohu is your lane with setup. This Jax needs to start get rolling in the game, and that's what Hacker's trying to do with the Herald now in place as well.
Take a moment to breathe. Dragon in 1 minute 30. Should see summoners coming back on the bot side soon enough. It seems to be whenever that ignite is available for Baolan, he wants to go aggressive. Ignite. Qing has one in his inventory. Well, I don't know if you've heard.
Not yet.
Or saw the news, but Ming has obviously come back.
Ming is back.
He is back, but the reason why I bring it up is that I would have loved an Ultra Prime roster with Ning, Qing, and Ming.
Yeah. Top lane.
That would have made me so much joy in the world would have been brought from that. But yeah, not to be Ming shall be staying, or sorry, yeah, Ming. Excuse me, not Ming. Ming shall be staying with the.
Yeah, it wasn't Qing either, was it?
RNG. And our producer Jing. So
yeah, true.
we have plenty of things to work with here as we wait to really just see this dragon spawning in 40 seconds. And honestly, I think FPX might just let it go. You're going up against a Immortal Shieldbow. You do have the crack to say on Lwx, but it does feel like right now isn't the opportunity to try and maybe force this unless Ultra Prime hand it to you on a stick. That's when you can kind of just grab that stick, take it for yourself, and run with it for as far as you like.
Yeah, I don't think you want to when Zoe 1 item's coming up as well. You know, Zoe at this point in the game will get even stronger. His Trouble Bubble ulti, Ning with a bit of overcommittal, which means that ulti will be down for Dragon.
Here we are.
Somehow.
How are you, Hysterics?
You know,
Any news? Anything fun happening in your life? You were doing the gardens today?
I'm having a housewarming in about 12 hours. So
beautiful. Glad you could be here. I'm glad you could invite everyone watching to your house.
Does anyone? Yeah.
Housewarming.
Hey guys, you know we'll make it a live stream. I bought a new esky for it as well. Asheen, I'll give you time though because this will be a top lane dive. I feel like this needs to be a top lane dive with Herald because Hery is sticking
really
around.
Hard to dive it though, right? Like it's still a Camille with Hextech Ultimatum. They are going to drop down Shelly, who will get distracted a little bit by the minions.
Boys.
Qing and Ning moving their way up, so no dive to be. So go on, tell us about your new pad, your new crib.
Oh yeah. Yeah, big 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. No, we don't, because pool's a maintenance, bro.
See, that's a lie because all Australian houses have a pool, so you're a liar.
No. I have a blow-up pool. That's it. Well, I don't need one. That's too much maintenance. Only renting. I
demand if you have a blow-up pool that you take a photo. You 100% make that a segment before summer's out.
Oh my god! Actually, that's a good idea. I'm gonna have to go and get it for tomorrow. But where were we? Oh yeah. I unfortunately I bought a beer that was like, you know, it's called Bluey's or something, named after the dog, the Australian dog, or whatever that dog was.
A children's kid show as well?
It is, but it's definitely not Bluey. You know what I'm trying to say? It's the dog that did a lot of, like, it's not Red Dog. If anyone's seen an Australian movie, it's that dog. But it's light beer and it doesn't say it on the side. And so I was spewing because light beer is, you know, for people that drink Bud Light. That's just horrible.
I mean, you're not incorrect with that statement, but I feel like what you were trying to convey was very much muddled after you realized you don't want to alienate an entire population of people who drink light beer.
Just have a Coca-Cola or something. You know? Just relax. As Ning about to dive this. Oh!
Yeah, gonna look for it there. There's the final chapter. Doggo will get kicked back, but he had the wild growth. While that's happening, there's a bit of a 1v1 happening between the mid laners, so a 3v3 into a 1v1. Both mid laners backed themselves away. Care did have the exhaust available with his unsealed spellbook, but it's a lot of posturing. A lot of summoners blown for FPX, but they haven't got themselves out of dodge just yet. There is still Ning in the vicinity, and they're still looking to try and make this work, but they know that Care is coming over the wall.
Bro, the more I see these comps interact, the more I think that maybe it doesn't matter if FPX, I think, holistically outscale, because having a Lulu on the team with even a Zoe and all the crowd control here from Ultra Prime, it is going to be so hard to kill Doggo as the game goes on. I don't think it'll be about Qing. I think Qing will play angles. I think, you know, we talked about Ultra Prime definitely playing angles in the team fight. How do you kill this Zeri as the game goes on? It's already so hard. And even when you have damage, it's going to be so difficult as more crowd control is going to come through. I think this time it's going to work.
I mean, maybe. You've still got Flash on Hacker, and they've got plenty of wave control there. So a 3-man dive would be ill-advised, I think is the best way to put it. Hacker recognizing he's probably in a little bit of a bad situation. Xiaolaohu takes an unfavorable trade as he pushes it into the turret. Is 30 CS up, though, and a full cold done to his name. So I will say that there was a gold lead for Ultra Prime about 500.
Oh,
now there's a little bit more. There's going to be the Hextech Ultimatum completely doing nothing, and Hery's just going to have to give up this tower. Yeah, he's not. There's no way he can go with this. He knows the Kassadin's coming. He backs himself away, and honestly, Xiaolaohu is kind of solo winning this game right now on top side. He hasn't been giving a huge amount of resources from his jungler because, unfortunately, Hackers have to cover bot, but bot lane's not dying that often and also not losing the tower just yet. Look, so Doggo, he's got his jump over the wall. He should be fine regardless of what happens.
Asheen, you're saying he's solo winning the game. Dude, the fact that Lwx and Lele are still, like, in this game, after all the attention that Ning and Qing have been bringing to the bottom lane, is unfair. Here we go. Let's play the turkey game mid.
Oh. No.
No turkey game this time.
We're not. I don't know what the turkey game is, but we're not playing it.
Well, there's always another time. As we say in Australia, you know, it's a fair shake of the sauce bottle. But no one's ever actually said that because honestly, it's just a ridiculous statement. That's like something Kevin Rudd said.
Do you find that you would say like a colloquialism on cast, and like you then realize it is not that common outside of like even your like area of like Australia or something like that? So I think I said something similar enough the other day, and I realized it's not a colloquialism elsewhere in the world. It's just Ireland, and I was like, well, that makes zero sense then to anyone who's not Irish.
I don't know. I use spewing a lot, like you know. And
spewing sounds like you're getting sick.
No, well, you're vomiting, yeah, spewing, like, oh man, it's crap, you know?
Oh, okay.
I'm spewing, like, it's bad. I don't know if I thought other people use
bars?
that. No, nothing about bars. Your head's in the toilet, but you're not literally, but it's just as bad as spewing. You know? Oh man, you know, H4cker so far this game, he'd be spewing at his performance because he hasn't done much on this Lee Sin. There it is. Third dragon, by the way, definitely spewing.
Yeah, third dragon going to be spewing a bit of damage there onto Care as he pops himself, void walks himself away. There's going to be plenty of trouble bubbles going out onto the side there as they look to try and secure themselves soul point. It is still only a chem soul, but regardless, getting that early soul does give you advantages in other ways, so you got to try and maybe make it work for yourself. The TP's both coming in for both top laners. Q comes in, Care is in the pit trying to make this one work. The smite doesn't come in time, and that's a boomerang play. FPX looking to try and make this fight work for themselves. H4cker goes in on the backside, kicks Doggo right into the Care's arms, and now they can really look to try and make this fight work. Qing doesn't go down just yet, never mind. It's a triple-double full house coming out here for FPX, as for some reason it said triple kill Gala.
Dude. Okay, well, that aside, I mean, just out of nowhere, FPX play it all for the steal. It comes from Lwx out of nowhere. And H4cker heard me talking smack and just said, watch this. I mean, we're about to see a replay in a second, but FPX's chase down potential was shown to the brim there. As we bring it up, it's TP from Hery, who's not quite in, as the dragon gets stolen by a boomerang blade. Ning! You're a finals MVP. That just hurts to watch. You know, Doggo as well, zoned out of the fight. They're all in a choke corridor. This team plays angles, engages so well, but H4cker in a corridor with a Sivir, with a Jax, in tight spaces, FPX just get a freebie, and that's exactly what this is. Are we going to see, did you say it said Gala?
So you know the way when we get multi-kills, it pops up in the top left?
Oh, it's a Gala.
It said like double kill Xiaolaohu, and then it just said triple kill Gala, and I was like, wait,
wow.
what? Because I was unsure who got the triple kill, so I checked.
Gala's playing like a solo queue game or something.
Gala got it, I guess. That's why I was so confused.
It's like, oh,
Yeah,
she's casting, throw it up.
Yeah. But yes, this game has been blown wide open. You now have two items onto your Jax. He is far and away. He has a Blade of the Rune King above Hery's Camille, so it's really not looking in. They're going to try and jump into Lwx. He did use his, I will say, he did use his spell shield quite frivolously. And honestly, with the two soul laners, the two big, you know, benefactors from the side, or beneficiaries from the side of FPX no longer there, it did mean that there was a little bit of an opportunity, but Ultra Prime has to back away. You still have silver, you still got your silver.
Oisin, this is how they play the game. They play the 1-3-1, they play side lanes, they draw attention of Ultra Prime. Ultra Prime might get summoners, but it's still a turret trade, it's still more pressure in and built up top wave as well. So now they can go deep into enemy jungle and start roaming around Fog of War. This is what FPX do so well, and off that 5k gold lead, now they can play hyper aggressive between lanes and start pulling off picks like this. As you see, this Kassadin, the clock's at 14, but honestly, it's starting to spell that.
I mean, yeah. I don't think they'll need the clock to strike 16 with Shirley. Can't remember which one the second one is.
Shirley, isn't that a Twitch emote?
Surely not. But we like to have fun on the LPL. But anyway, moving back into this one, yeah, it does feel like Ultra Prime took a gamble. I feel like if they got that soul point, it would have been relatively okay-ish. You have a win condition at some way, shape, or form, but LWX now just going to get the spell shields used there to take up the Hextech ultimatum, but LWX now no longer with summoners is going to get taken down. They may look for this Baron because they don't have a choice. The scaling's going against them. Ultraprime have to make a decision.
Okay, so Baron is going to go pretty reasonably quick here with Doggo. LWX not being as big, but Oisin to zone control from Ultraprime, another great threshold that they can play towards, but H4cker looking for the steal. Oh, can he do it? No. Ning, don't.
1,000. H4cker goes in. He kicks out to Sejuani. He flashes back in. Finally gets in and gets the smite down. But can they survive? Two-man, three-man counter-strike as they're going to try and jump out on top of everybody. The Kassadin's gone down. Doggo's free.
No way.
So Doggo's getting so much more done. As I say that, they're going to jump on the Xiaolaohu and kick him into oblivion. They get themselves a fight, and it is Ultraprime who spin the Baron, but it comes out on top for them.
And Doggo is spewing, as you saw on your screen. I mean, this... Even though Ultraprime were the ones that get the Baron, it's coming down to these tense situations. Like, dude, what is with Ning? He hasn't changed at all. The fact that he would flip a Baron, a 50-50 here. Ning is kind of the one who invented it, I feel like. As we look again, great kick from H4cker, but you look at the rest of FPX. Care is dealing with Baolan and doesn't provide the damage source to help get a quick smite and get a steal for FPX. And because of that, Ning's able to get back into the pit and get the smite himself. Ultraprime getting Baron, but also able to kill Xiaolaohu at the end, survive with 2. You know, Baron on the Camille as well is going to help you play these side lanes and start matching out some of the pressure from FPX. And gold just swings back to an even 42k for both teams. We're not over the woods yet.
Not quite yet. I will say level 10 stacks, I should say, onto Care means that he is by far and away one of the richest and also most dangerous men on the side of FPX. Xiaolaohu not far behind him, looking towards getting his... I believe he's looking to try and get maybe a GA and a Spear of Shojin. But Ultraprime now using this opportunity as they have got priority over the Dragon. FPX saying, look, we're fine with that. We're still scaling. We're still pushing on with this. We need our Sivir to get up to that 3rd item before we really can kind of take these team fights in a more convincing fashion. And
she'll have it for the Chemtech, so that's something. But Doggo will already be there. There's a Renan's and Infinity Edge coming in after that. I mean, Doggo is going to be in a very comfortable spot as well for this next fight. But right now, I want to see how they kind of, again, FPX set up for this defense of their base. Because they're going to lose this mid turret. That's eventually going to go away. There's so much threat coming from Qing in this Fog of War too. Where now it's all going to take is a couple of waves. And Ultraprime just to try and find a pick. In fact, I'm worried for LWX here. Has heal, has spell shield, but there's a lot of spell shield. That's the problem with this team.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of single target CC that can come in and will destroy you. And honestly, Ultraprime taking full use of this Baron, recognizing, hey, look, we can cover the side lanes. You can see the waves very much in a neutral state. They weren't really in a position to get something going. H4cker looked like he was on a bit of a flank, but not to be at the moment. Void Staff finished up there for Qing as he tries to come back onto the minion wave and make a bit of a nuisance. And it comes down, like, the thing with Zoe is that it's like a blitzcrank. All it takes is one bubble. All it takes is one skill shot to land, and you're in danger, honey. Like, there is nothing else for you to do. You got to be very aware of all these surroundings, and with the added, you know, kind of mobility you get with these plants of the Chemdrakes, it is going to be a little bit harder to try and just keep track of where he is at all times. And with Ning with him at all times, you know, it's that CC chain. That's the biggest threat here. We're looking at the Nexus. Okay, did someone use something, Oisin? I don't think so. Well, no one. Oh wait, did Care use a stopwatch or did he use it in the last fight? I'm not sure. He doesn't have one in the inventory. We're gonna have to find out what that was. Someone in the audience laughed. Maybe they find Nexus funny. I don't know. I don't know what it's about. All those gems. I don't know. Well, we'll have to find out. Maybe they're getting excited because Care's level 16. But that's on the other side of the map. I mean, Care, again, this is when he's already hit his stride at level 11. That's really the big Kassadin breakpoint. But we've got 2 items here. There should be a 3rd coming up as well. Should be a Zonya's pretty soon for Care. I'm not sure how far he is off. He's already got the broken stopwatch. Sitting in base right now. Care gets it. Okay, that's huge for Kassadin. For this next fight as well, the ability to buy a bit of time.
It's going to be great, especially when dealing with Ultra Prime's big
Oh,
potential.
Lwx! He's by himself, and he doesn't have his cat on his shoulder. Hacker brings the cat in, but now he's completely isolated away from the Xiaolaohu, who tries to go in, but immediately you can see Doggo, with the support of the Lulu, just will not die, and he is just free firing at it. Finally, Xiaolaohu throws everything he possibly can at it and will take him out. Xiaolaohu will fall, and it's a 2-for-1 trade, but Lwx, you can't be there.
Dude, Lwx just maybe giving over, I don't know, the next dragon, or at least set up towards these side waves. Nothing up available, that's why he's lucky, but getting caught out like that in any other situation would have spelt doom here for FPX in game number 1. And they try and all in, they're trying to make the best of the machine, but as you said, the cat not on the shoulders of Lwx. He walks up to mid, so deep here, there's no vision in River. You have no clue where Ultra Prime are, apart from Hery in the top lane. And Lwx is big greedy walking up the menu way.
I mean, it costs them so much as well. Hacker's flash no longer down, all combative summoners off of the Yuumi, and as well as that Xiaolaohu stopwatch. So, you know, that's just another thing they're not going to have. Fair enough, it didn't cost them anything right now, but it may cost them coming forward. As you can see there, Hery almost made it out with another kill on the backside of that. It really did feel like it was going a little bit too close for comfort for FPX, and game's dead even, but with Dragon spawning in a minute, Baron in 10 seconds, you got Doggo now with the Infinity Edge, and the difference is that Doggo has the stopwatch. He has the survivability. Yes, he doesn't have his flash and his heal, but he's got himself so much more survivability with that Lulu as well.
And look at this Force coming through. It's exactly what Ultra Prime need to do. Force with their pick potential tools. Play Fog of War. The beauty of Zoe is when you have deep vision, when you're able to control enemies' territory and watch them pivoting through parts of the map, you can set your team up for beautiful picks. Even here, across mid lane, Qing is the one you need to watch here with Ning by his side. If any of that lands on Lwx, he's not expecting it or doesn't have the flash up, which can be burnt quite easily. Even the Spell Shield Rider Sheen, that's what's going to make the game here as Baron now spawns and Ultra Primer hightailing it towards its objective. Because they're on Soul Point, they don't need to force the Dragon. They can get Baron again.
They'll absolutely shred it. The Baron down to 6,000 HP. Xiaolaohu goes in there, tries to make this one work. They're going to jump down on top of him, try burn him out before this. There's his Zhonya's to go off right at the start of this fight. Xiaolaohu jumps in and kills off the Sejuani. Doggo doing the best he can to be a frontliner. He almost gets on top of Lwx, who kept his flash from that last fight. It ends up being a 2 for none, but these health bars are low. They'll catch out Care and stop him from recalling. As you can see, Doggo now has to get himself right out of that situation. They're going to give up the Dragon. The Baron might still be the call. There's pings coming down, Hysterics.
Yeah, there is. Lwx is going to fast tail it to Dragon in the meanwhile. TP coming through as well. They're trying to do both objectives at once, but I think this might just be a bit of a ruse, a bit of a bait against UP. Well, FPX are just going to pick up the Dragon. Now they can move over. So there's also been some vision clearing. Machine. We're back to square one, but I can tell you this. This game is probably going to be Kassadin versus Zeri. You know, two of the greatest champions of our generation. As we look again, dude, this Zhonya's, this is what I was saying. The value that came through from Zhonya's Hourglass for Care was so big in this fight. It wears out the Hextech ultimatum. It lets him reposition for the kill, then get out, while Hery gets taken down by Xiaolaohu. If there's no Zhonya's there, Care probably goes into die. Lola has to back away, and the rest of FPX can't get a couple of pickoffs that lead them to get another Dragon of their own. So, really nice from Care. Feels like that was a defining moment for him. And we'll just have to see how Baron approaches coming through, because right now, FPX are first on the map. Ultra Prime went for the reset after setting out some vision of their own.
Big thing to notice here, Xiaolaohu actually has a stopwatch of his own. We've been seeing this Jax stopwatch build coming in quite a bit, honestly, and we can see the value that it gives. All he has to do is survive. If he survives, he's in a much stronger situation to be able to jump on the Doggo, who is on the short range Zeri. But the big thing now is the Lwx lost his flash that he didn't, or he kept from the time he got picked off, now doesn't have it for a potentially Baron fight. You can see Ning, Baolan, and Doggo looking to try and see if someone, maybe Hacker, is walking a little bit too close towards this brush to trigger out that vision. They're going to have to try and make sure that they do not get caught out. Care is probably the safest person to do this on his own, as he does have the Rift Walk. As he can move himself forward and back, try and make sure that he does not get caught out by any of the CC that might be coming over from unseen walls. But more and more pressure being cut down. It feels like, again, one team fight's going to be the difference maker in this game.
Yeah, it's just about how the team fight's taken. Again, side lanes kind of need to be corrected here by FPX. Putting the pressure on top, bottom lane right now, would set them up for Baron. But you also have to remember that right now, Care is running the exhaust. He's got Spellbook, but TP, I'm not sure about the cooldown here. Xiaolaohu can play through that TP, but they choose not to. They choose to stay grouped up, while Ultra Prime get to clear the last piece of vision. And now Baron is sitting pretty blind.
And they don't know exactly what's going on here. Ultra Prime making sure they don't lose priority in mid lane, though. They would just straight up lose their inhibitor turrets should that happen. Care got himself a cat on his shoulders. Cat might be in the bag, but he's on the loose, and that's going to be Care. He's kind of soaking in a lot of this damage. He can just do this. Again, his items are naturally tanky. The Seraphs, the Rod of Ages, and the Zhonya's just makes it so much easier for him to do. But now you have a 20-second or 30-second window where there are no minions going mid lane, and you can just run for this.
Well, they want TP, Oisin. They want TP from Xiaolaohu. That's what they're trying to draw out, and there it is. But do they continue in the Baron? No, they shouldn't. They should look for the pick here, but Xiaolaohu came, and that's what they want.
They got it. Now both teams on opposite sides of the map, as we're going to see a movement here. They're going to land on the Hacker. Care goes in with the final chapter. As you can see, Hacker looking to try and jump in with Xiaolaohu. He's going to flash in, get the ultimate down to try and make this one work. You can see Lwx doing work in the backside. This is all FPX. It's all the time. Hextech Ultimatum's going to do absolutely nothing. They'll give over a double-double. FPX will end the game off of one team fight because the scaling happened.
Dude, Hacker is just a Chad, man. The kickback on Doggo puts him in position for the rest of FPX. And as you said off the back of it, of one team fight, this composition that I favored from the start finally came together. All it took was a Lee Sin that had a very quiet early game.
He really, really did. Hacker, you know what? I gave you schmack, you smacked me back, and that's all that matters right now. Yeah. It is going to end at the 33-minute mark, just underneath it. FPX will take the advantage in this series.
Well, nice debut from the FPX jungler, considering they've played with Hell Yeah. Hacker's first game of 2023. I guess overall is a success. The Lee Sin, our first of the LPL too. Kind of shows what this guy favors it by like 50 extra plays. Yeah.
Definitely not his first. It has been known to his champion pool. That was his 91st game as he looks to try and make that an even win-loss score. But hey, a win's a win, and we take that as in the LPL. And for FPX, it's a great setup for themselves. It's a great way for them to be able to kind of come into the series because it feels like they are starting to build that momentum.
Yeah, they are. Again, they need this. They need a confidence booster because that 0-2 start, it's not only about the scoreline, but it's the fact of who they lost to. I mean, against Ultra Prime, you kind of expect an FPX of last year to do pretty well, but yeah, this was all over the place, Oisin. I think there were real moments where like Lwx made us question what he was doing, running down mid at 25, 30 minutes or whenever it was, without a Yuumi on top of him, with no vision in river, with Ultra Prime all missing. Like it's moments like that you go, well, there's no real excuse for plays like that. But Ultra Prime overcommitting on one side, not all coordinated in that last team fight as well is another big part. But I think we saw like a very good use of composition from Ultra Prime. They're playing off the fog of war, playing through the deep vision, but definitely outsmarted when those all-in 5v5s came through. And you have a Yuumi on top of a Kassadin. You have Zhonya's, which buys time. Like, there are so many good tools for FPX to utilize.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is always going to be the scaling at Jax, a Sivir, a Yuumi, a Kassadin. Like, it doesn't matter what Hacker plays. All he needed to play was something that he was comfortable on, would engage. Lee Sin fits that pretty nicely. It was definitely a little bit risky at the start of the game. Felt like the bot lane was really starting to crumble under a bit of pressure. But as you said, after that first engage where they did lose that 4v2 dive, it just felt like they kind of regrouped. Lwx said, look, as long as we do not die, as long as we do not give over more gold than we necessarily need to, that's all we need to do in this game, because at the end of the day, if they can't kill him, it didn't even matter when they killed Lwx in a lot of these fights because Care and Xiaolaohu were doing so much damage on their own.
True, Xiaolaohu having a good early game kind of mitigated, some of the fallings coming through from the rest of the map. Even though Lwx and Lele survived so long, Care and Xiaolaohu were kind of untested. Like, Qing did well in the laning phase, but he didn't obliterate the cast, and it was a massive gap. Like,